Hello and welcome to this Fan Appreciation Day on YouTube, here in the YouTube-verse. I'm Ollie Davis. This is WrestleTalk. Thanks for joining us here, viewers, and thanks for being you. You know what? Because we're doing this stream, you're going to get to see some stuff, some stories that you wouldn't normally hear about on the WrestleTalk news with our high-production world. We just realized that our backgrounds don't cover this larger, expanded shot. Usually, look, here's an example. Here's Luke.
Hello.
It's the you don't see the stuff around because we can't fit anything bigger in our houses. What do you think about that, Luke?
Well,
I feel like I'm Adam Blompier hosting QuizzleMania. I can just take people in and out at my own whim, like there's Laurie Blake.
Hello.
Oh, and he's gone too. And who else is here? We'll have everyone from the WrestleTalk family, the Wrestleverse, for this hour coming in, popping in for a lovely chat and a nice cup of tea, like Louis Dangoor, the newest addition to the WrestleTalk verse. How you doing, Louis?
I'm good. How are you?
I guess I'm the least famous person you talked to this morning.
Yeah.
Go away. Right. So the point of this stream really is to say thank you to all of you. We've been through some lovely times together on. It's my mic, right? Is that better? Is that a bit of ASMR? We've been through some times here at WrestleTalk, 500k day, doing the dance music video punishment against Cultaholic Live. That was me, Luke, and Laurie. Remember that?
Yes. Oh, is that a genuine? I think you were asking sort of the audience. Do they remember it? I do.
I certainly do. I was there.
To be honest, I'm just having fun clicking people in and out. It's really fun to do. And yeah, look, when I completely crapped the bed last October, that was fun with all clickbait gate and everything. But I feel we've emerged even better, even stronger now. We got a Blompier. It's like, we've got a Hulk. That's our new catchphrase thing. But also, as part of all of this, Parts of Unknown as well. We launched that and WrestleTalk clips and WrestleTalk interviews. We've got 4 channels now, folks. Go and subscribe to them all. But one of the bigger things that we wanted to do, we've actually had this planned for quite some time. Before the world started to fall apart, we were given a grant to make a short film based on wrestlers in the wrestling industry and mental health issues. It seems that our industry that we cover and love so much seems to have a higher proportion than most of people suffering with mental health issues. And that's something we wanted to, do all we could to help out with. So as you've seen on last Saturday's WrestleTalk News and in today's WrestleTalk News, we are launching this Support WrestleTalk, Support Each Other campaign. And Lord knows in recent weeks, supporting each other was even more pressing now with, of course, numerous very untimely passings in the wrestling business. As part of this, we have a dedicated page on our website now, the Support Each Other page. If you go there, the link's in the video description below, click there. There is a list of loads of different organizations that can help you through depressions or suicidal thoughts. No matter where you are in the world, just find your country. There'll be a few links for that country there, and you can get in contact with a professional because our expertise has a very real and low cap. So we will listen to you and help as much as we can, but then we will pass you on to a professional who is far more equipped to do this. And also, we'll be raising money. So Calm is a UK-based mental health charity campaign against living miserably. So you're against living miserably. I put the inflection in the wrong place there. And we're going to be raising money for them at QuizzleMania 10, where I will be contending against Luke Owen, Sean Ross Sapp, and a very special guest that we'll have that we'll announce at the end of the show. This little live stream. But for now, let's get on with what we're really here for. You don't really care about the social campaigning stuff, do you? You want to talk about wrestling. So let's go over to your questions. Robzilla TV says, Louis Dangor, who's your favorite wrestler? What's your favorite finisher? What's your favorite match of the year so far?
Favorite match of the year is the cage fight from this week's NXT.
Because you're an NXT mark.
What is an AEW?
Great t-shirt company.
Favorite wrestler would have to be Aleister Black. And what was the third question? Sorry, I'm new to the whole Super Chat game. Favorite finisher? We'll go with the Black Mass as well.
Wow. Someone likes NXT and Aleister Black. Jumping Jack Willie Smack. I'm going to bring Luke in for this. Hey,
Hello.
Luke.
Hello, mate. How's it going?
Initially, we were going to have some semblance of structure.
Yeah, I was going to say this morning, you had a very rigid, here is what is going to happen. But as soon as you got just a tiny semblance of power, now that you know how StreamYard works and you know how to kick people off, you've gone mad, man. Look, you.
I don't know what you're talking about. Are you saying that me having access to, I've done this before, or actually some of these might be assets for Wednesday's QuizzleMania?
Oh, mate. I don't know if you've also seen this, but you know what I loaded in? Yep, there you go. I loaded that in on Friday for a chat I was having with Pete. Greg stuff.
Tasty. Pete used to work at Greg's. I rescued him from that. You're welcome. Jumping Jack Willie Smack asks Luke, did all of you study performance at university? It certainly seems so in some of your long-form videos like podcast discussions, Fakador's Explained, or Adam's Howard book series.
I did not study performance at university, but I did do it at A-level. I did drama at A-level, and I used to tread the boards in my spare time. I was a bit of a drama kid in my youth, so I used to go to an after-school drama class. It wasn't actually connected to school or anything. It was a sort of a outside project. So I used to do that every Thursday at the local community center. That was at the community center. It was at the sports rec for a bit. Then it was at a church for a bit. And yeah, we used to put on plays every few months, and I would often get the lead, Ollie Davis, because because I was one of the oldest people there. So so I would often get the lead because I was the most reliable person to remember lines.
It's when someone's been in a wrestling company for so long, they get a title run eventually.
Oh yeah, totally, yeah. So that's my acting experience.
Chris Dunstan, I have a question I'd like to ask WrestleTalk. What is the one thing you all miss from being in the office? My first comment was too long that I had sent before the message. That doesn't matter. What do you miss from the office?
Hanging out with you guys. Just hanging out with everyone. I sort of posted this up last week on the old Twitter machine because our WrestleTalk podcast show over on the Fight Network UK, the introduction to that is all footage from the from the office and the set and everything, and it just made me think God, I miss hanging out with it's all fine chatting with you guys every single day via Google Hangouts, but it's not quite the same as being in the office together, going down the pub, this, that, and the other. So yeah, I miss that.
Your inflection sounded like you resented it there, talking on Google Meets every single day.
No, as I said, I love that, but it's not quite the same, is it, mate? That's where my inflection was.
Well, I also, it sounds like a cliche, but it is amazing how much you can miss folks. I do miss you all so much. Particularly, and Louis is going to hate this, so I'm going to bring him on for the AEW pay-per-view. I just wanted to watch it with you all.
Yeah.
Was there an AEW pay-per-view?
Oh, sorry. Oh, weird connection issues. Let's bring in Laurie to bring the tone down and say he doesn't miss any of this.
Oh no, I missed the free coffee. Nice. No, I miss everyone. It's nice having camaraderie in the workplace. It's nice being able to blow off steam on a Friday and go to the pub and have a chat about things that aren't just work. Because I think sometimes when you're just having work calls, all you discuss is work. So it's nice to spend time with your mates.
What do you want to?
I could be nice outside. I have to make the joke first and then.
What do you want to talk about now? Any non-work related stuff?
Not really. No, I haven't got anything at the top of my head. Super Mario.
No. Well, I think he was going to say, so it's Pete. Chopper Pete's in the house. He's still getting ready. You're bumped. Oliver Williams, my question is, are there any moments in the WrestleTalk team's lives that changed them for the better? Luke Owen.
Yeah, I mean, I did see this question ahead of time, and I don't know if this was going to sort of like bring the tone down or anything, but it's like, did you know what? It's my uncle passed away at a very young age, unfortunately. He died at the age of 49 of cancer. And it was one of those situations where he was diagnosed with cancer and then a week later was in a hospice and died. And it was a really sort of, God, yeah, it was like a really harsh moment during life, and I didn't really know what to do. And I found myself a bit of a loose end, but it was chatting to people, and particularly the woman who had become my wife, that really helped me out of that. And it's actually like my uncle passing away has almost made me realize, it's made me a better person in a way, because I kind of took stock of where I was at that point in my life and realized that I was quite unhappy and needed to make some changes. And it did change me for the better.
What did you do?
I quit the job that I had, which was making me utterly miserable. I moved into a different job that unfortunately also made me a bit miserable. But then I moved on from that one as well. I was also in a relationship that wasn't making me happy either. But I was just sort of like, I don't want to say I was sticking around because it was the done thing. I did love her, but I wasn't happy anymore. And it took me seeing my aunt hold my uncle in her arms as he was dying to make me realize, like, I don't know if I'm in a particularly happy relationship at the moment. I don't know if I'm happy at the moment.
Oh, well, that's serious feels, and well done for getting through it all. No, this is good. This is what we are all here to talk about, really, as much as I try and run from it. We are. This is to create a forum of people to share, like, yeah. Tobin has just gone in touch. Thank you, WrestleTalk, for speaking up about mental health and looking after each other. Every conversation could be a start to find help. So yeah, it really is. If you're feeling lonely or isolated, especially at the moment, just having a conversation with a friend or a loved one, or in one of those helplines in the link in the video description below, where you can find your local one, that will do the world of good. I just want
to add as well. There's a lot of people who are still super chatting. You don't need to super chat. Just want to put that out there now.
Yeah, there's no monetary sort of hierarchy here. We're getting to everyone's. So let's bring in Pete. Oh no.
Oh,
Hi,
hey,
Luke's still here.
Hello.
Yeah. Go away, Luke. Isn't Luke the worst, Pete? trying to hijack the stream with his emotions. Jade Star's in touch. She's the person who writes a lot of our entrance music for the podcast.
We love Jade.
Yeah, and she did your Tyler Breeze music, your punishment video, and my recent AJ Lee one as well, because WWE will claim that shiz for copyright otherwise. She asks, WrestleTalk, to all the WrestleTalk staff, what has been the funniest moment in wrestling and on WrestleTalk for 2020 so far?
Oh, for 2020, I'm half tempted to say the Otis Mandy Rose stuff from SmackDown this past week for wrestling. That was ridiculous and awesome. For WrestleTalk this year, probably just being around for the recordings of No Rolls Barred. Probably. Because I was sitting there trying to work and I couldn't, because I was just enraptured and turned around in my chair and just watched the whole thing and was trying not to laugh off camera. So probably that.
Not having your own head shaved, eyebrows and all.
Wasn't funny for me, unfortunately. It's funny for everyone else, though, so that was what was important.
It's not the only hair that's going missing. Stay around until the end of the stream for more details. How about, let's bring Laurie back in. Funniest moment of 2020 so far?
In WrestleTalk, it has to be Andy farting during the predictions, which I don't think I got through editing without cracking up every single time.
You're welcome.
That's why you don't do things that you don't want in the video when I'm recording, Andy, because
why
I will
did it.
put it in the video.
Oh, I wanted it there.
Good. Because, I mean, it's very base humor, but do you know what? There's a reason it's base humor, because it's the base. It's the best humor. In wrestling, what's the funniest moment in wrestling this year? I think the Otis Mandy stuff, to be my little C gem from this week, was pretty good. Money in the Bank was a laugh a minute. Stadium Stampede was also, I think, just like wall-to-wall humor. I really enjoyed all of that stuff.
I would say, yeah, Stadium Stampede, when Hangman Page and Jake Hager sat down on the bar together, because it was equal moments, funny and badass. Also, shout out to Natalia receiving a phone call on last Monday's Raw, and then Charlie Caruso just saying, well, you've got no more interview time left. Let's get rid of Laurie. Hey, Andy.
Hi, Ollie.
How's it going?
I'm good. I'm early.
Yeah, Chalker Masseuse or Masseuse, what's your favorite ever wrestling stage design? Love you guys.
Oh, I don't know. That's not really something I think about very much. Oh, yeah, probably the SmackDown fist is just so iconic.
See how hairy my fingers are.
I'm not sure I have very hairy fingers. No, I'm very fair haired. It's my Swedish heritage. But yeah, I think got to be the fist, the old SmackDown fist. I do. It's just when you think of set designs, I think that's the one that always pops straight into your mind.
Let's have a good thought message. Finished at 40. Hopefully not. Guys, you'll never know how you and WrestleTalk helped me through my depression. I was suicidal when I first discovered WrestleTalk. Thank you so much. Kiss. Well, that's very kind of you for saying, and glad to hear you're through it. I'm hoping that means you've become non-suicidal since, and it sort of drove to the. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing this stream. DJ the Animator. I remember watching WrestleMania 34 and being so annoyed about the ending. So I searched for a review and found out you did a Wrestle Ramble on the show, and I loved it. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Yeah. No. Well, for the first message, we get a lot of messages like that, sort of saying how just our podcast, just our sort of stupid antics on YouTube have helped people, and it's incredibly touching to see. I mean, I joined this company not really knowing how you and Luke, because at the time it was you, Luke, and Laurie, and then I joined as the sort of fourth member. I had no idea the kind of impact you guys had on the fans, and it didn't hit me until we started getting messages. I started getting emails from fans, started getting messages, DMs on Facebook and on Twitter, sort of saying that we'd help these people through this. And that's when it really hit me, like, that while we are sort of sitting here being silly, having a good time, there are real people that we're helping, and the people that watch us and we're helping, I think, also help us. I mean, I've gone through some particularly difficult times, especially in the last few years, but being in the sort of wrestling universe now that I am, there's been I met loads of amazing people I work with, people who email in, and they've really helped me personally as well. So I think it's a kind of circle of help, and it really means a lot to me that even though I'm sort of kind of one of the kind of background characters, I can still have some kind of effect on people, and that's a really sort of pleasant thought to have if I'm ever feeling low, you know.
Not just an inner circle of help, an outer circle of help.
Absolutely, outer circle. It's like an egg with the inner yolk, the embryo, and then you've got the gooey outside.
You don't look so much like an egg now.
I don't look so much like an egg. I still have a giant forehead, but the issue is normally when I get a haircut, they cut it a bit shorter on the side and they leave a bit longer on top, so therefore it kind of grows out like a haircut. But now it's just growing out all at the same length. So I don't really know how I'm going to remedy that.
The Swedish fro, embrace it.
Yeah, well, it's always much blonder when I do have it short. Yeah, probably due to my semi-Swedish heritage.
Well, speaking of cutting off, there goes Andy, and I'm bringing back Luke.
Hello.
Because Wallu TV, the mayor of Painesville, Dan himself, Superfan Dan. When I was at Wrestling Media Con and had a chat with WrestleTalk's Luke, a SWAF Nation member called Metal Bear approached us too and told us how WrestleTalk saved him. Wonderful stuff. Do you remember that moment? This is sort of becoming a bit like a Seth Rollins promo now.
Do you know how great we are?
That wasn't the intention.
Hey, Ollie, did I ever tell you that story about how you're brilliant and I'm brilliant?
Let's get everyone on to say how brilliant we are. Yes.
Oh, mine's the only one with a screen that doesn't really fit.
You've let the team down, which
dude.
means you're fired, furloughed. Bye-bye. No, I'll bring you back. You're answering a question. Sorry, I was playing around with the gallery again.
Too much power. Yes, we met a lot of people over at Wrestling Media Con. It was such a great weekend to interact with everyone, and we've had it at the Prince Charles shows that we've done, or when we've been around for Rev Pro shows, or Progress. God, it wasn't last year, was it? It was the year before Progress, wasn't it? Hello Wembley. But actually all the other Progress shows. But yeah, it's just been lovely meeting everyone and sort of hearing people's stories. And yeah, it's being able to just chat with people for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. I just would love to give as much time as possible.
Yeah. Let's bring in someone who's just joined. I think he's ready to go now with his backdrop, but is his hair okay? It's Adam de Blompier.
My hair is never okay. Curse this lockdown, and it's meaning I have very limited access to the products that I need. Hello.
So let's talk hair, because the other guys don't have much, but me and you,
the two authorities,
we can bond
exactly.
over it. Yeah. So that's what it's called, roots.
These, yes, they're called roots in the follicle industry.
Yeah. So we've got a question from Amal Jazim. How long do you guys plan to do QuizzleMania?
We were talking about this today. So it's sort of burning me out slowly. No, I'm kidding. I love doing QuizzleMania. It's one of those things where, as the world is unlocked, I feel like it doesn't have to be a weekly thing. I think maybe we could look at fortnightly, maybe monthly, maybe even doing like a mini series of like 4 and then a month off, then 4 and then a month off. We'll see. But like doing it every week, well, basically we also want to come up with new cool formats for Parts of Unknown. Can't really do that if I'm sort of chained to wrestlers' nipples every Monday and Tuesday. So it will definitely decrease once the world gets back to normal, but it won't stop. That's the one thing that we are definitely clear on, is that QuizzleMania will carry on in some form, but just not weekly.
Chained to wrestlers' nipples, title of your pay-per-view?
Title of my sex tape.
How does it feel to be on the other end of the QuizzleMania kind of hosting thing, with me in control of who's on and not?
I hate it.
Yeah. So just remember that feeling whenever someone doesn't say the right chronological order of some obscure title. No one self-respecting remembers. Derek Alea asks, hi, Pete. This
I'm
is
back.
for everyone. Oh, God, no, I didn't read the question before I started reading it. Rank Ollie as a boss. How great is he? Ollie, you can answer this too. How would you rank yourself as a great boss?
Oof. Wait, so out of all the bosses that I've had in my life, I have to rank where you'd come?
You haven't had many.
I've had a few.
Okay.
I've had a few. You're maybe in the top 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
You're in there.
Cheers, man.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get someone else in. Laurie, how do I rank as a boss?
You're a very good boss, I think. You listen to ideas. You're happy to let people try things and see if it works or not. Parts of Unknown is basically that experiment given form. So yeah, I'm pleased.
Andy.
Oh, you are without a doubt the greatest boss I've ever had. You took a chance on a giant-headed baby man, gave him the job of website editor, and we've turned something that was just a small website into a world-beating phenomenon, and it's all thanks to you, man. And you
Sorry, I thought you'd wrapped up. That wasn't meant as a. I'll bring you back on because we'll change we'll change tax awkward segue into something a bit more serious. Jobber JJ496, Ollie Davis's #1 fan, trademarked. Someone who gets in touch loads on the live streams. Question: outside of your own small bubble, when you were a young adult, did you guys ever feel lost or feel like I don't know what to do with my life?
Yeah, absolutely. I think at some point in everyone's kind of childhood, adolescence, there is a moment when you feel like that. Whether it's at school where you think, oh, I don't have the friendship group that I want. Whether it's choosing what you want to do at like sixth form, at college, at high school, things like that. There's always going to be that moment in your life where you think, yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing with myself now. But there's that. I think what's important to remember is that even if in that moment you do feel like you're sort of lost and that you don't quite know where to turn, there's always going to be at least that one person who you can speak to. And you don't have to sort of designate them as such. You don't have to go up to them and go, hey, when I'm feeling down, you're going to be the person I speak to. You can kind of unconsciously choose that person. I know there are people who are like my close friends, but that I might not speak to about that sort of thing. But then there are close friends who I know that they'll be able to give me help. And even if it's just talking to them and them sort of nodding and listening and not really giving all that much advice, I think it's important to sort of surround yourself from as early an age as you can with people that you trust and people that you can speak to and people that you know won't judge you for feeling bad, because trust me, they will have felt the exact same at some point in their life. So yeah, it's important not to think that when you're feeling down that you're strange in some way, that because all humans will go through that at some point in their life. So I think it's very important to just understand that you're no different to everyone else.
Yeah, well said, Andy. Because I would say to JJ496, that period as a young adult where you feel lost or like you don't know what to do with your life, that's kind of also applies to your 20s and your 30s. Those are the only two bits I can speak on at the moment. But yeah, I don't think that feeling goes away. But there is great comfort in knowing that everyone shares it. Really, you're not alone in that struggle. And yeah, talking about it, as Andy said, is a very good way to alleviate some of that burden. Let's switch over to some WWE questions. Awkward gear change segue with the newest member of the WrestleTalk family. It's Louis Dangor from RH Streams. What is your favorite WWE theme song?
Ooh. Baron Corbin's got a great theme song. Before the King rubbish, great theme song.
Two great theme songs.
Two great.
Eli is what?
Shinsuke's got a great theme song. AJ.
But Baron Corbin is the most Louis answer you could have given there. You know that. I feel like you're trolling us all at sometimes.
So you said this before, but when we do our morning meetings, you think I come on just to troll you guys about my hatred of all things AEW.
Yeah.
Apart from Brody Lee. Brody Lee is my best friend.
Your best bet. Because this next question is AEW themed. Louis has nothing to offer in that regard. Let's bring back Luke.
Hello.
AJ Lawrence. My friend wants to get back into wrestling via AEW. Watched the show last week and loved it. I want to show him some of the best matches. So what would you choose?
Oh, I tell you what I would choose. I would choose youtube.com and search for Adam Blompier's 10 best matches that he did for WrestleTalk. 10 best AEW matches, because there are some absolute... You're welcome, Adam. There's some absolute corkers in there. In particular, the tag match from Revolution, Dustin versus Cody, Phoenix versus Nick Jackson. Just an incredible selection to choose from in that list of 10 that Adam posted.
I would also add just like queue up Orange Cassidy matches, I think, and that seems to hook anyone who has more fluid interpretations of what wrestling can be. Let's bring in Pete because your favorite show, SmackDown. We got a question on that from
hell yeah.
Tipu Imran, who is always up in the comments. Who do you guys want Riddle's first feud on SmackDown? Knowing Vince, it will be Corbin, but me, he personally wants Shinsuke Nakamura.
Shinsuke would be really cool. I'd really like to see AJ Styles, personally. I don't really have a reason for that. I just think it would be really cool. So yeah,
AJ Styles?
Yeah, 100%. Now that he's been drafted to SmackDown in the weird cross-brand invitational wildcard draft of future considerations move. Yep.
But do you want that to be a first feud?
Yes.
Should that be a bigger feud?
Because what I want is AJ to win the Intercontinental Championship, and I want that Riddle to be inserted straight into a big feud instead of being like, here's squash matches for 2 months. I'd really like him to just come in and just be inserted into a really high-profile feud straight away, and he's a big star from the off.
I'll stick with you, Pete, because we've got another one from John McNeil. Who should be the one to take the belt off Adam Cole, and when should Undisputed Era debut on the main roster?
The one to take it off Adam Cole should absolutely be Keith Lee, because I think that is actually going to happen. I think he's going to lose his North American title to Johnny Gargano at TakeOver in Your House. Spoilers for the predictions video that's going to happen. And then I think Keith Lee's going to go up the card to the NXT Championship picture, and he'll beat Adam Cole, and he's going to be great. And then I guess Undisputed Era can debut after Adam Cole's lost it, because I think they've kind of done everything in NXT now. After Cole's lost the title, I think it's probably time for them to go up.
Louis, you can't see Louis because he's not on the screen, but he is furiously masturbating at all of this. Let's have a nice thing. This is an awkward gig. He's just sworn at the camera and walked off. He's got an Undisputed Era T-shirt out.
Boom.
Awkward gear change into something more serious from the lovely comments section of our moderation doc. Monochromatic Vice. Hey, just a helpful reminder to everyone: you deserve nothing but love, success, and happiness. If someone tells you otherwise, then they can kindly screw right off. You are all awesome people.
They're absolutely right. Yeah. Something that I did want to quickly say as well, as someone that has suffered from mental health issues in the past and stuff. This stuff is obviously very personal to me. People who have heard the podcast email sent in a while back, just after I got hired over a year ago now. It's really important to realize that even if you have those times, like we mentioned, someone who mentioned in a previous question before, if you have those times where you don't know what's going on with your life and what you're doing, it can turn around. Sometimes, things just happen in the right way for you. Like I was floundering, doing nothing, and then all of a sudden, within a few months, suddenly I was a writer for WrestleTalk.com, and suddenly I moved down to a different city on the other end of the country and changed my life around. So, yeah, it can, even when it feels like it's really bad, there's always going to be light at the end of the tunnel. And I definitely wouldn't have got through it without a solid support group around me. So it's really important to have those conversations with people and make sure you're talking about it and all that stuff. So, and also when I'm talking about good bosses, all jokes aside, Ollie is the best boss I've ever had because he actually listens and he cares about people, which is nice. And when I go to him and say, hey, Ollie, I'm having I'm having an off day with my mental health and stuff like that, he cares and he listens and he talks to me about it. So it's really great to have that.
Thanks, man. I do log every time I do that down on a sheet, though.
Of course, yeah.
The eventual contract renegotiation. Of course, I'm kidding. Of course, I just can't deal with sincerity sometimes. But that's enormously. That's very nice of you to say. Thank you. And that was all you, Pete, that you had your support network and you worked tirelessly. You would come down on a megabus. I think you would sleep on friends' couches for days at a time every week, so you could come in and record the videos. And you earned that job and then some, mate.
Well, thank you.
Let's get rid of Pete and bring in Adam for some lovely stuff because he's mentioned in this one. Anthony Prudent says, hello, thank you guys so much for doing this. In the chaotic time filled with despair, we should never forget that we still have each other for immense support. hashtag support WrestleTalk, and then they've chosen as their final hashtag Adam for WWE Creative.
Support each other. Support me. No, that's very kind. Gosh, I never want to work for WWE. They seem troubling. But no, this is. I think this is going to be a really, really positive campaign for a lot of people. To kind of echo what Pete said, I have had struggles with mental health in the past, and yeah, it's difficult to sometimes be in a place where you feel like you don't want to burden other people that you know with the fact that you're struggling. I'm not necessarily saying that's a pride thing, but sometimes you just be like, I don't want to negatively impact my friends or my family, and that kind of sometimes leads people into suffering alone. I went through that a few years ago for one reason or another, and one of the things that actually really helped me was phone services like Calm or the Samaritans. I actually ended up training and working with the Samaritans for a few years actually after this, because I think it's one of the most valuable services. So just not to go on too long, but just remember that sometimes that feeling of I don't want to burden someone I know with a moment that you're struggling, that's valid. I would say that your support network almost always want to help you, but just remember there are people you can talk to who have absolutely no emotional stake in your life in the most positive way possible. Someone who doesn't know you, who won't judge you, who doesn't like, you don't owe them anything. There are places like Samaritans or Calm that you can call, and they will just listen to you, because sometimes that's all it takes, and sometimes that feels like the hardest thing to actually do, is to be heard and be listened to.
Yeah, well said again. Well done, everyone, for sort of sharing their stories on this show. I hope everyone appreciates it watching, and please do, share yours, because that's in the comments down below, because that's kind of what the whole point is here, is to talk about it. So me as a person, I do find it difficult to talk to my group of friends, because we just rag on each other all the time. Not the most open environment to suddenly say, hey guys, I feel terrible this week. So John Atfield's comment here is an interesting one, especially considering no roles barred. Sometimes it's a good idea to kind of create a reason to all hang out and talk about things like this. Usually it would be going down the pub for me, but we can't do that right now. So John Atfield says, my friends have been talking more recently about our mental health outside of our weekly RPG online games. Thank you all for raising awareness during this difficult time.
Yeah, for me, after I kind of went through a really bad patch, what I just made sure I kept doing was kept hosting board game nights. That's my thing. That is actually, and it's part of my kind of self-care. Because constantly seeing each other is difficult, but when you have a reason for all being in the same place, like I try and, before lockdown, I tried to play board games once a week, just because it kept me more socially active, and also it provided us, because sometimes it's not about we need to all get together and we talk about ourselves and our mental health and our problems. Like obviously that helps when it's required, but most of the time it's simply the salve of being social. It's like kind of getting out of bed and having a shower. It's something that feels incredibly difficult, but once you've done it, you feel kind of almost topped up, rejuvenated. And having a board game thing to focus on meant that we were meeting all the time, but we weren't kind of like always just talking about ourselves or conversation. We had something to kind of almost keep the conversation on rails, and we would interact. We wouldn't necessarily have to talk about ourselves, because like you say, sometimes that's not the dynamic of your friend group, but simply the act of being social works as like this kind of ointment, this kind of calm for your mental health. It just kind of lets anxiety melt away while you're pretending to be, a warlock or a wizard or any of the myriad wonderful things that board gaming tabletop stuff brings you.
Just before I go on to someone else, I'll just read Mike Tarry. Just want to say thank you for all that you do. Wrestling is my escape from the dark times, and love all the stuff you do here and on Parts Unknown. Jam that jam.
Jam that jam.
Jam that jam. Let's go over to our other parts of unknown boy, Laurie Blake,
All right.
to say, Justin Lee Swanson, I love you guys bringing joy and entertainment to these fans in these very dark, trying times. Don't ever stop, Laurie.
I don't think we ever will. We'll just keep going until the wheels fall off.
Well,
That's
until
the plan, anyway.
WWE aren't going to stop. We're
exactly.
all prepared. We had a whole evergreen content strategy planned lists. Nope.
That news just keeps on coming, doesn't it?
Let's find another one. Valab Mamadipudi, who's also another sort of frequent super chatter on the Raw and AEW shows. I stopped watching WrestleTalk for its content long ago. Don't worry, it gets better. And stayed for the lads. I'm glad to be part of a community through the officially unofficial Discord as blind awe. # support each other.
Oh, that's really nice. I'm glad that, despite WWE's product maybe falling off a cliff a bit and not being very watchable, people are watching us instead. That's really nice.
That sounds like you want a WWE question.
Go on.
Goblin Queen Elizabeth says, since everyone is always so down on Vince, what is your favorite Vince McMahon moment?
Just the way he walks. That's my favorite Vince McMahon moment. There's never been anyone with that much. I don't know. I feel like he's a very proud man, but I feel like his ability to go out there and demean himself for the public is kind of something that you've got to be like a little bit proud of, and you've got to be like, well, you know what, you're a billionaire, you're wielding all this power, but you're actually willing to swagger down to the ring, having people laugh at you. I think that's pretty good.
I'm gonna re-ask this question from earlier because I didn't get to you. Jumping Jack Willie Smack. Did all of you study performance at university? It certainly seems like some of your long form videos, like podcast discussions, particularly Fakadors Explained, did.
I didn't. No, I did English at university, and I wanted to be a stand-up comedian going into university. I'd done a few gigs before uni. And I wanted to have a radio show. And then when we were at like the freshest squash, when you sort of choose which clubs and societies you're going to join up with, someone jumped out and went, join the TV station. And I was too shy to say I didn't want to. So I did that. And then got really into it. And then we made a sketch show and we did all these other bits and bobs. So I sort of self-taught myself to present and act as badly as I do, because I wanted to write things and edit them and film them, but to do that we also needed actors, and there was only like 5 of us doing it, so we were just like, well, we'll just do all the roles, fine. So that was kind of it, really. Everything else has just been absorbed through watching things.
He just copies everyone he sees on screen. Let's go over to Louis, because we've got one from Skeletor 10594. Do you think WrestleTalk interviews will be put onto podcast form? I really enjoy listening to the interviews, but unfortunately I can't listen when I'm at work because it drains my data, Louis.
So it's something Luke and I are working on, so stay tuned. But I'm kind of offended people don't want to see my beautiful face.
They just want to hear your beautiful voice instead.
Oh, I see what you mean. Because of a face for radio. No, he said it was because of the damn data.
Yeah.
Data.
Great character from Star Trek Next Gen. Should we start doing some... Look, there's 3 of us here now. It's a 3-way. Let's find Mr. Throw-Ups. It's not always at a younger age, but it differs for many people. I think this is answering the one about, whether you find you don't know what to do with your life. Thanks for the support each other. Stream. Yes.
Yeah.
And sorry, I'll drop you out there, Louis. Gonzalo Rodriguez message to... I rolled the R there. Did you hear it?
Mate, you can get some massive heat from people for doing that sort of thing.
Gonzalo Rodriguez message to WrestleTalk. I survived domestic abuse when I was 4. I'm now 20. Thanks to that period, my life is not very good, but thanks to WrestleTalk, I found some happiness. Thank you guys so much.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're sort of through the end, off the back of that, and there are always people out there that you can talk to, and I'm glad that our stupid little antics and shenanigans can bring some joy and levity.
Yeah, and if you ever are stuck with who to talk to, remember there's a link in the video description below, right at the top. It's called Support WrestleTalk, support each other. It'll take you to a page that will always be there on WrestleTalk.com, and it has a link to several different organizations or charities broken down by country that you can ring for professional sort of, not advice, but someone to talk to. And as we've heard in this stream already, that's one of the biggest, best things to do. Lost in Travel, Lewis Berzinski, this live stream has shown we all go through the same feelings and emotions. We are all human, and we can be nothing more or less. Love you all.
Absolutely. A great man named Tom Campbell posted up something last week in which he said that it all goes back to sort of like how we treat each other online as well, that we are all human at the end of the day. And he said that it takes you a couple of seconds to type something on a keyboard, but that can stay with people for weeks and months, maybe even years. So it's always good to just, we're all human at the end of the day. We're all people just trying to get by in this world. So let's just all support each other. Let's all just be nice people to each other.
Yeah. And that doesn't just apply for us in the wrestling community, like, fans and viewers watching this. It applies to the people we watch on screen as well.
Mm-hmm.
We were all, and we were kind of a part of it as well last summer, talking about Seth Rollins, how stupid he was on Twitter at the time. And yeah, he was not presenting a good picture of himself. He was meant to be a babyface as well, so there's not even a heel argument there. I'm getting too into the weeds there. The point is, there is a very real person at the end of those things. So when you start to criticize a wrestler or someone on air, just remember that, just write it as if you're saying it to their face. I think that's always a good thing. I think that's what the society's lost in the age of social media, that you wouldn't say a lot of these things to someone's face.
No.
And you would take, even if you were going to say something that you didn't think was that bad, you would take great care and detail to say it in the right way with the right inflection. And a lot of that's going to be struck from the written word as well. So fill it up with emojis.
Can I just highlight a comment that I've just noticed because it's for you, and it's from Fightful Pro Wrestling, who says, why does Ollie Davis fear the quiz lord Sean Ross Sapp?
I mean, I've already kind of gone against him and, came last. But yeah, I will be going against Sean Ross Sapp this Wednesday for QuizzleMania 10. It'll be me. It'll be Luke. Sean, defending champion. I'm rooting for you, Luke, because I don't think I'm coming anywhere near that fist. And another special guest who will be announcing promptly, because it's nearly the end of the stream. We're only going to do an hour. I'm going to drop Luke out, and I'm going to bring up some Pete, because we have Jonathan Machuga. Pete is a saint for shaving himself into an egg for charity. If you boys ever come to America, I'd buy you all pints. WrestleTalk takeover next WrestleMania weekend.
I'd love that. That would be amazing. So if we can budget that right now, Ollie, and get the money aside for that, so we can all just not work and go and watch takeover in WrestleMania, that'd be great. Thanks.
I like how you think us going to America to watch WrestleMania and takeover would require no content making.
No, zero. We just make stuff in advance. Wouldn't cover either show. We just go and watch it, and it would be great.
Just the WrestleTalk away weekend.
Yep. Just lads, etc.
Okay, well, Pete's being cut there from the stream. Andy, hey, Dylan I know we said we weren't going to do any super chats because the idea is, everyone should be allowed to talk here, not weighted by money. But there's been two very generous ones. Firstly, Dylan from Cork. Thank you for all the priceless entertainment you've given me for the last 2 years since I started watching the channel. Heart emoji. What's your go-to song or album that makes you smile no matter what? Mine is That's the Spirit by Bring Me the Horizon. That's a jumpy song, I believe.
Probably ABBA Gold. As much as people say, "Oh, you're Swedish, you must love
great
ABBA."
Album. It's a great album.
It is an album of about 20 songs. But it doesn't matter which one comes up. You're like, this is great, and I know most of the lyrics to all of the songs. So you cannot listen to that album and not think, oh man, yeah,
more bangers.
Yeah, exactly. And people are like, oh, you're so boring. You listen to ABBA, but then you know that they'll go home and go, no one's watching. Right, I'm going to put it on myself, and then just start dancing because And then the Mamma Mia films as well are unbelievable.
Well, I think you're just going, look, Andy is Swedish. We probably shouldn't have asked him. He's got an agenda. But we will bring in Luke, who can do an impression of Aha.
Well, I mean, something along those lines. Andy essentially just did the Alan Partridge. I'd have to say it's the best of the Beatles.
Do you want to? I'll go through everyone, actually. What's your go-to song? We'll do a song rather than an album because Andy technically just picked 40 songs.
Oh, damn it. I had an album picked out. Laurie, you can go first.
You can't say an album.
My album's Paul Simon's Graceland. I really I love that album. And and to be fair, Call Me Out is my favourite song, and it always makes me feel happy. So, yeah, that's my one.
Luke, what's your favourite?
My go-to album is Faith No More's Angel Dust or Slayer's South of Heaven, albums that I can always go to. Toto is always a banging, you're always going to have a good time with Toto, particularly Hold the Line, which, controversially, is way better than Africa.
Ooh, come at him on Twitter. But of course, do it nicely. That's the whole point of the stream. Let's bring in Louis, who famously doesn't have a music app on his phone. So what is your favorite podcast episode to cheer you up when you're happy?
It's got to be the Wrestling Observer Radio, where Dave Meltzer uses my exclusives.
Sorry?
I said it's got to be... I said, yeah, it's got to be Wrestling Observer Radio, where Dave Meltzer uses my exclusives.
I was so happy for you. I was putting out the washing on Sunday yesterday, and he said, "Oh yeah," and Dominic Dijakovic is going to Raw. I was like, "You son of a bitch, Meltzer!"
I emailed him. I emailed Mr. Dave.
Hey, Daddy Dave.
It was very polite. I just said, just to let you know, and then he apologized.
Oh, he does mean it. I mean,
he's quaking in his boots that better looking guy with better sources is coming for his job.
Louis, I will warn you now. Any people going for Meltzer's throat has never worked out for anyone.
Until now.
Let's go to, we've had did we? Oh yeah, you said Graceland, didn't you? Had Andy. Let's go to Pete. Favorite song to cheer you up?
It changes all the time. I didn't think you were going to go around to everyone. I'm sorry. It changes all the time. It really just bounces back and forth. I recently just found a metal cover of the Skyrim theme that's amazing by Jonathan Young. I've been listening to that on repeat. It's great. I'll go with that. Sure.
Well, I hope everyone sort of writes down these, these musical picks, because maybe we can create a kind of WrestleTalk happy playlist, and then everyone can be really happy if they're feeling down. Adam, what's your happy song?
My happy song. The song that makes me the happiest is "Accidentally in Love" by Counting Crows. I'm the album I listen to. I think if I just really want to feel like hooray, the world is great, is Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf. But a song I'm listening to over and over again right now is Whole of the Moon by the Waterboys, which is so great.
I would as we were going through, I was thinking Electric Light Orchestra, Mr. Blue Sky. I loved it anyway, always big ELO fan. But then when Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 came out, I loved it even more. But it does have that kind of bit at the end, which is a bit space opera sad. I think there's a bit of melancholy there. That's why it's so happy, because there is the melancholy. However, the happiest song I can think of is the Foundations' "Build Me Up, Buttercup."
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Try not having a smile on your face for that. Who should I bring in? Let's bring in Andy, because you'll reference Simon Gagner. Growing up, my family was very mocking, always making fun of each other. So bullies never affected me because I've always heard worse at home. So because I'm used to mocking the ones you care about, that Andy bully stuff was always a laugh for me.
Well, see, the thing is, that was always like, I never felt bullied in the office.
Do say if you would.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Ollie, I thought I'd tell you right now on this live
stream about supporting each other.
No. Like, I want everyone to understand that everything that happens online, on WrestleTalk on air, that's all. I'm kind of that's all pretty much run by me. And if there may have been like one occasion where I thought, oh, I'm not sure I like that. And at the moment I brought it up, it was like, okay, well, we understand that now, and it's never ever happened again. So I think it's one of those things that if something does happen to you that you don't like, you have to tell people, because otherwise they're going to keep doing it. I mean, yeah, I think it's really important to sort of talk to someone, to choose someone. And for me, like I just privately messaged you and said, oh, I think this, I didn't quite like this. This kind of sort of hit me the wrong way. And you were like, okay, well, we'll deal with that. We'll just make sure that never happens again. And it didn't happen again. And I think that's a really important thing, to have that kind of support network around you, that you don't feel stupid for going to someone with your problem. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, please no one think that I'm actually being bullied. And I am actually cheating very heavily on every single QuizzleMania. So there you go.
Yeah, because I think people, it's you can sort of dwell on things in your own head, can't you? Like a passing comment becomes a running joke, and then everyone starts saying it in the group. And you might be there like, oh, but this is actually really annoying and really getting to me and frustrating to me. And you just escalates and snowballs in your own mind. It's not school anymore. Everyone should be adults now. And you just go to someone and say, oh, do you mind not saying that? And they'll go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know I was affecting you in that way.
And especially during a time like this, where a lot of people, myself included, are finding ourselves increasingly isolated because of our living situations. I mean, I live in a flat on my own. My flatmate has moved back in with his family for the time being. And I think that I think everyone is sort of feeling particularly, possibly touchy, very sensitive at the moment, because they don't have that kind of physical support network. And I'm someone who, for as long as I can remember, has suffered with quite severe ADHD, and I've seen like people talk about it on Twitter, and Sean Ross Sapp has spoken about it. I think from what I've seen, it's actually illegal to be a wrestling website editor if you don't have ADHD. And I know that there are other people who work for WrestleTalk.com who suffer from the same. And it can make every day like a real struggle, because you wake up and you just cannot be bothered to do anything. But because I've got a really good support network, I've got great colleagues who, for example, wake up on a day and go, oh my God, I really cannot be bothered to do any of this. And then we have our morning meeting, and then sort of I just feel like, okay, well, that's a part of structure that's helped my day. And I think a really important part, if you too suffer from ADHD, and I'm sure you've heard this a million times before, but is to structure your day so that you have certain things you do. You wake up, you have a shower, you have breakfast, you have lunch at similar times every day. But yeah, I think with someone who's suffering currently from mental illness, and it really affects my everyday life, I think it's okay to be more sensitive at the moment. I was speaking to my girlfriend, because there was a couple of days where we just couldn't stop just having a go at each other. We were like, what's going on? We never argue. And then we just sort of turned to each other and went, I think we need to give each other a bit of a break here, because we both realized that, look, the only reason we're doing this is because quarantine is just really like getting to us. So I think, especially at the moment, you've got to give yourself a bit of a break. You got to understand that you're not kind of immune to being sad, to being more emotional than usual. So yeah, just give yourself a break. Let yourself be emotional. Yeah, let yourself get angry now and then, and just understand that it's nothing you can really do about it. It's just human nature. But anyway, ask me something fun, Ollie. I'm being very emotional.
Well, yeah, it's this is we'll probably wrap it up now. But yeah, I echo that point. You've got to sort of let these storms pass. There's very kind of accept that they're going to happen. That yeah, I'm going to feel a bit funky for 3 days or a week, but just keep doing the best practice stuff, which is getting outside, talking to people. I know this is going to sound gross. Clean your teeth. I've definitely matched up days where I haven't cleaned my teeth till 2-3 p.m. with days where I feel funky. Louis, rather worryingly, has a toothbrush in his room by his bed, presumably.
Yeah, that's definitely Hughes' first teeth.
And finally, just before we invite everyone on, Planet Dan says, as someone who has been through OCD and depression and is all good now and always refused that nothing could help me, I just want to say to anyone on here that things do get better. Yes, they do. I think this actually has a max of 6.
It does have a max of 6.
Get me out.
You're now going to have to pick which one you love the most.
Hey, I made the cut.
Did it bump Andy automatically? Sorry, Louis. It's first in, first out. But everyone, thank Louis. What a great job he's doing on WrestleTalk interviews.
But before I head off, I do want to say thank you, everyone, for their support on the interviews channel. It's been incredibly overwhelming and nice. And yeah, thank you very much. And subscribe to see more great content coming soon.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Louis. Let's get rid of yous and bring in Andy. So, yeah, I guess I'll just say the QuizzleMania announcement for. Well, actually, Adam? Do you want to say who's going to appear, and then I'll say what's on the line?
Absolutely. This may take me some time because appearing is the cream in your coffee. Your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler, the Jewish canon, the physical embodiment of charisma, the most entertaining man in professional wrestling, the Bernie Sanders of professional wrestling, the best of the best, Mr. American Rana, Davey Wrestling, the circumcised savior, the 104-minute man, the main event, he's really good at Twitter, the independent, the king of taunts, the product, David Starr.
Yeah. Whoa. We're going to have an actual wrestler on the show.
Hooray.
Adam's taken a bump.
Yeah, well, that's right. I've wrestled Rampage. Who says I haven't?
Luke and David Starr have history.
I was going to say, I'm really looking forward to, my neck. Him apologizing for pushing me in the way of Callum Newman's forearm that I believe was intended for him. So yeah, I will be looking for some form of apology from Mr. Starr.
And it won't just be David Starr versus Sean Ross Sapp, defending champion, versus Luke, usually the bridesmaid, but once the bride, and me, who is always last. I will be putting not my head hair on the line, but my chest hair on the line. Where
have you seen the 40-year-old virgin?
I mean, it's going to come out on the stream anyway, so I might as well show everyone what we're working with here.
Well, you might have to stand up, mate.
Oh my god!
It's going to be like ripping up a carpet.
Those are roots.
I can feel the delay.
I'm not kidding. 3 inches long. Yeah. It's the longest part.
I'm really glad no one grabbed that low-hanging fruit. There was a joke that was ready there, and all of us paused, waiting for someone to take it, and no one did. Well done, boys.
I think that was more just because no one wanted to cut each other off on the Zoom. But yes, that's going to be happening. And of course, all of QuizzleMania 10, we're going to be raising money for Calm, which is one of the mental health charities here in the UK, that that sort of guided us in this approach of the Support Each Other campaign. But for now, thank you everyone all so much for watching and taking an hour out of your time here. Remember, don't just support WrestleTalk, support each other and support yourself, I guess, is one of the biggest things coming out of this call. I keep calling them calls now. They're not, they're videos. If you click the link in the video description below, which is down past Andy, it will take you to a page on WrestleTalk.com that will always be there. And they have a link for every country imaginable. Probably not everyone, but a lot of the major countries have mental health organization links there. And then you can find one in your area and you can talk to a professional. It's nowhere near as scary as it's. In fact, it'll be very, very useful, I think, for you. Before we get out, should we try and do some form of Brady Bunch, bubbly bunch bye? So, bye, Luke.
Bye, Ollie.
Bye, Luke.
Bye, Laurie.
See ya, Adam.
Bye, Laurie.
Bye, Luke.
See ya, Ollie.
Bye, Andy.
Bye, Adam.
Bye,
Bye,
Pete.
Pete.
I'm
Sorry.